Ladies and gentlemen, aliens, luchadors, whatever you identify in this wonderful, beautiful world, welcome into the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. As always, I am your host, T to the C to the D, uh, Hunter Houston, T Diddy, whatever you want to call me, just some dude who has opinions. And tonight's opinion show or night's show is about wrestling. I love me some wrestling. I think other people like wrestling too. I thought the AAA show was unbelievably amazing. Worlds Collide. I'm going to show not a little bit of it. I'm just going to show you where you can go and watch it for free on YouTube. That's all you got to type it in, and I'll just show that. And it's definitely worth watching that show. How WWE sold out. They sold out a long time ago, and a lot of people miss this. And I'm going to not really go into detail, but I'm going to just kind of point it out, give my opinion. Also, talk about the Canola fight with Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford should have basically won that scorecard across the board. And of course, his maybe new relationship with Angel Reese. So let's get that started. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're familiar with this little show that I constantly promote. Actually, I promote a couple of shows. I promote the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast with the Radical One, Radical Reggie. I'm giving him first billing because he's a bigger name. Sorry, Will Schultz, who is the leader and the host of the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast, who is unbelievably funny when he wants to be. Sean the Man Powers, and of course, James LL Cool Smooth J. Check those guys out. They're awesome. They did a really cool show. They always do a cool show. It just comes on late at night. I couldn't watch it last night. I was just too tired. And then I was like almost too tired where I couldn't end up going to church this morning, but that's another story. I did go, and I thought it was very good. I got to be a greeter. I was like, "Hello, take a pablet. Pablet. What's a pablet? take a take these pieces of paper that have something to do with the show. Or it has something to do, actually not the show, but the ceremony that's taking place, or I don't know, church. There you go. Take this, learn, do something. Now, I've stumbled over that. Also, shout out to Resident Sterile Show, with the Resident Sterile YouTube show that he does with his kids. Hopefully, he says he will have more time soon. I keep trying to get him back on the show. We were not able to secure Joshua French or Josh French for the show. He's getting ready to go to the Tokyo Game Show. I hope to have him on once he gets back in mid-October to talk about the Tokyo Game Show that he's going to. And hopefully he will speak a little bit in Japanese, and it won't be insulting toward me, maybe just towards someone else. I have these idiots that I know that live close to me, and he's like, "Yeah, I got this tattoo, all in Japanese. I don't know what it means, but like, I took all the writing to like different sushi shops. Kid you not, this jackass said this, by the way. Took all this writing to different sushi shops to make sure it all lines up and they're not giving me the business. Dude, if I worked at a sushi shop, and most of the people who work at sushi shops are not Japanese. They're like just probably Filipino or whatever, but just random stuff. So of course, if anybody told that dude the truth, man, more power to you. Guarantee you. Like, oh yeah, it means strength and courage. It probably means like you're a jackass or whatever. But I would never get something if I didn't know how to read it or you like use Google Translate on it myself. It's like, oh, let me use Google Translate and see what this says. I mean, especially look, this is the only time I talk hard about culture appropriation, and I don't really care about anything else. But if you don't understand what you're getting written on you, and you're not of like Viking heritage, or sorry to point somebody out there that I talked about earlier, or whatever, don't get a tattoo. That's like if you get a tattoo of like an Indian, and you're not an Indian. Even if you were an Indian, you probably wouldn't want to have a tattoo on you. Like, well, I don't want another Indian on me. But still, I digress. Don't get a tattoo of something you don't understand the language, or something don't mean. Well, you might as well just get strong written on you, or some other type of bull crap, or like wisdom. Stupid. You know, I feel so. I'm trying my hardest not to use profanity because I'm talking wrestling, and I want to be a family friendly show where I can put it down as a family friendly show, and people can watch this with their kids. So, try my hardest. I apologize if I have used some little bit of profanity. So, let's get this going and not talk about people who are RTs. There we go. All right. So, how I say, and we'll get to AAA Worlds Collide soon, but how do I think the WWE had sold out a long time ago? Okay, very simple. Vince McMahon, or Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., not senior. When he started going to Saudi Arabia and he started taking money from the Saudis, he had already technically sold out, but not to the extent that they've sold out now, where they've basically just agreed to take the one and only WrestleMania over there, and they're already doing Royal Rumble this year over there. Let's go over here to this little screen share here so I can show you wonderful and amazing, beautiful people. All right, and now you have to do is Google search it because I'm just looking through Google search right now. And you shall see, ladies and gentlemen, you aliens, that Saudi Arabia in 2027 is going to have WrestleMania for 2 nights. WrestleMania 43 in Riyadh, or yeah, it's Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and they're allegedly, and this is allegedly, getting $100 million. Now that's what's being promised up front to maybe the WWE itself. But what about some of the people who are special attractions? They may have their own deals. Remember when and I'm just going to go ahead and get out of here real now because I don't want to be hit like with a copyright infringement or anything. I just wanted to show that to you guys that it will be WrestleMania in 2027 will be in Real. So let's go ahead and get out of there real quick. There we go, back to normal. You can see my mug even better. Woohoo! For you lucky and amazing people. Now, but so they've been taking that money, I think, since 2018 or 2017, and it's just been more and more and more. I mean, I think they paid what, Shawn Michaels $3 million to come out of retirement and have that horrible match with him, Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane. And then, like, the Goldberg versus the Undertaker, it almost killed the Undertaker. Uh, I know we don't like to talk about that match and pretend like it didn't exist, but that match exists. And I don't even know like if it exists on any network anymore. You have to find it through YouTube and hope it's not flagged. Um, but in all honesty, look, it was a way for Vince McMahon to get more money, to be able to make the company more money, and be able for him to do other things and maneuver. And if people are willing to give you extra money, take it. If they're, willing to pay. I mean, think about this. All these big events that happen over in Europe, they're paying a lot more money here in America. We're really spoiled. And this would be a great time for AEW to lower their ticket prices to $20 a piece, put on a pretty good show, have Jim Cornette come in, well, the great Jim Cornette come in and start doing booking. And he could probably fix your show and make you at least somewhat competitive. You know, don't take these opportunities and shoot yourself in the foot while WWE is charging ungodly amounts for ringside seats, ungodly amounts for everything else. And it's not people trying to think that's WWE. It's not the WWE anymore. It's basically the people who own it's TKO Entertainment, the people who own UFC and own other things, and they own a lot of debt allegedly. So, and I've heard the rumor, the alleged rumor, that they will continue to charge these enormous prices or these enormous prices until they are out of debt, and then let's just say they'll start trying to turn a profit after that. Like, well, if we were able to charge this while we were in debt, then what can we charge when we're not in debt? You know, now the thing is that they may not understand the highs and lows of wrestling, and this eventually will all come down where people can't afford to do this. So the only thing you're going to make your money on is because they don't even do house shows anymore. At least with Vince McMahon, you got house show, you got reps, you know, you got to do all these other things. They're not even doing house shows anymore. So long story short, uh, they sold out a long time ago, but they sold out even worse when they became TKO Holdings. So again, it's all about the Benjamins, and I'm not going to dog anybody for getting paid. That's kind of a good thing. But look, if you had a choice right now, and I'm not paying for any premium live events or pay-per-views, I'm gonna do what Stephanie McMahon said and get a VPN and watch Netflix in Canada and get all the live or the premium live events for free. I'll spend that $20 or $10 a month for a VPN rather than $29.99 through ESPN. Sorry, ESPN or Disney, but no. So that is what that is. I'll miss Peacock. Peacock was my home for wrestling, and I don't even watch anything else on Peacock. That's all I watched. It's the only time I would turn on. Oh, and maybe the occasional football game. Oh, and shout out to Dak Prescott for screwing me over tonight and having me lose my fantasy matchup. I hope you lose every other game this year, you freaking clown. Ugh. I digress. Let's keep it moving. And again, with them doing WrestleMania over there, and then them doing the Royal Rumble, you can't blame the talent. The talent can only do what's going only do is under contract. Some talent can agree to come. Some talent can't agree to come, and sometimes the money's just too much to say no to. Guarantee you, one way or another, Austin will find a way to be there, be in shape, have a match with somebody whoever they want him to have a match with, and however they want to book it, and Austin to make him like guarantee you Austin's asking price because Sean probably made like 3 or whatever it was for his match. Austin's probably going to ask for 5, and they'll give it to him. And there's nothing wrong with it. $5 million for one night of work to put your body on the line for one night. And I think Austin's almost 60. Hey man, people been wrestling longer than that. Hogan was like wrestling longer than that, and Hogan has a lot more wear and tear. Hogan's no longer with us, so but I digress. Trust me, Austin will probably come out of retirement to get that easy Saudi money. Nothing wrong with that, and I don't agree with it, but it's just the way things is, man. To quote the $1 Million Man, everybody has a price. Money, money. All right, can't do any more. Else I'll get hit with the copyright there. Now let's keep going. Actually, we'll bring in the boxing next. Now, for those who don't know, last night, because this is a Sunday, last night there was a fight on a fight card for boxing, and it was Terrence Crawford and Canola, and he won. I felt it shouldn't have been as close as it was, and I'm a fan, but the unfortunately things didn't work out the way I wanted, and it is what it is. Now let's go ahead and find this and look this up here. Now, for those who can see or watching here at the old home there, you have Mr. Terrence Crawford with Angel Reese, and she is towering over him. Now, apparently, he gave her a big hug. I didn't know if there was a kiss interaction, but they might be seeing each other. So this is kind of a big deal, and this is before the fight. She might have said, "Hey, you win. There's a good chance something may or may not happen." And Canola Alvarez. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. I don't want to disrespect him or any of my Mexican watchers because we do have at least a good amount of people from Mexico who watch the show. So muchas gracias, mi amigos. And shout out to our few people, which is just, when I say a few, it's like 2 people in Guatemala who listen to the show. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Also, shout out to family members in Guatemala. Uh, Simon, Luis, Jaden. Hey, yo. That's probably who watches the show. It's like, family members watching my show. But no, I thought the fight was very good. If you get a chance, watch the highlights on ESPN, YouTube, or just watch the highlights on YouTube. But I thought it was weird, man, that he's hooking up with her. I don't know how that took place, man, because because Shaq was trying to holler at her for the longest time. Well, at least anyway, he was acting very simpish toward her when he was on her show. Look, I'll come and help you. I'll come and teach you how to do shots. I'm like, if there's anybody you don't want to help you on your shot, and I love Shaquille O'Neal, and he's a great guy, and he's done a lot for so many people. But if I want to learn how to shoot, or learn how to play around the basket. Mm, I'm just watching old videos, and these are great videos, by the way. You can find online of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, just older players that actually knew how to play to their back against the rim. Watching old Akeem Olajuwon videos of people who could actually score. I mean, Shaq was just like a freaking nature, like an unstoppable force. So there's really nothing that can stand in his way. So no. But no, I thought the fight was good. The card wasn't a bad card if you're a boxing fan. Again, I like to see where that relationship goes. I mean, she can build him a house. I'm gonna tell you that right now. All he has to do is let her sit outside with a rim and a basket and a ball, and with all them bricks she's laying, she will done built that man a foundation and a house in no time. Boom, boom. Yep. I made I made the obvious joke, and it's a true joke. If you watch these guys on YouTube, it's like Angel Reese part 60. Whatever parts they've done, like one through so many, and they got so many likes that people. And I just watched them. And it's just highlighting her all her misses throughout a game, and her me bounds and stuff. And look, good looking girl. I'm not taking away from the girl's looks. Unbelievably good looking. But she's just I don't know. I don't know why she's famous for playing basketball. I guess she was with a great LSU team and beat Caitlin Clark and won a championship. Uh yay. But otherwise it's like WNBA, it's like, look, I take no credit away from you for being on the cover of NBA 2K25. I was assuming 26. Much respect to you for that, man. But I just don't understand, like, how you're considered like an athlete. You should be a model or something. I mean, you won't be the equivalence of a Lisa Leslie, who was unbelievably super gorgeous, who played for the LA Sparks. But yeah, you're all right. I like you. I mean, I ain't gonna say no. It's like I'm not an idiot. Well, could be, but you never know. All right, so that's enough about that and my weird obsession with Angel Reese. Let's move on to the AAA Worlds Collide. Now, for those who don't know, AAA was recently bought a few months ago, or allegedly bought. I don't even think we have to say allegedly anymore. They were bought by the WWE or TKO Holdings or properties or whatever you want to call them. And I thought that show was an amazing show. If you didn't see that show, let's check this out. And all you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go to YouTube. Seriously, go to YouTube. Type in AAA Worlds Collide Las Vegas. You can watch it for free from WWE, and it was super awesome and super cool. And everything about it was just unbelievably good. And I really can't say enough about this whole show. I thought the show was just a decent show. It was nothing that takes away from that show. And of course, I didn't go to the presentation to show you the show right here. So just type in when you go to YouTube. Maybe it's on Rumble, even though I use Rumble as my itinerary. Uh, AAA Worlds Collide, and you can watch it all for free from WWE on their channel. And it was super good. I strongly recommend, even if you don't like lucha libres or like Mexican wrestling. There's a lot of non-Mexican wrestlers in it, and it was super good. Can't say enough about that show. You have some amazing performers. Mr. Iguana was super good. Penta, um, just so many great superstars that are just Mexican made that you may never heard of before that may cross over onto the WWE. So that's one thing people should look out for is there's so many good people coming uh, from the W to the WWE, and that's the one thing that are going to cross over from AAA. And there's so much good. I'm talking about good talent. You're not dealing with trash talent. You're dealing with like legit talent. You're dealing with big boy talent. All right, so let's go down the list of who did what and what did what. So, and forgive me for not saying some names correctly. I'm horrible on names, so I'm just going to go Natalia or Natty versus Apache. Fabi Apache, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, but that was a good match. It was the only female match that was on the card. Actually, I stand corrected. There were two matches on the card. There was one with Roxanne Perez. It was a mixed tag. Roxanne Perez, Finn Balor versus Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice. That was also a good match. Lola Vice is actually much better than I expected. She's getting a lot of love. But let's go back to the Natalia match. The Natalia match is actually a really good match for those who do not know. Um, I know that a lot of people have been sleeping on Natalia because she hadn't been away from WWE, but she's worked with AEW. Excuse me, not AEW. They wouldn't let her do that. She's worked with NWA, the original NWA, which is the National Wrestling Association, which is owned by William Cardigan or Bill Cardigan, that is the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, Will Schultz. Uh, he's probably already tuned out because it's a wrestling show. Uh, he will usually listen or watch the show on his way to work, so he's already tuned out because it's a wrestling show. So you won't even know that one of the Smashing Pumpkins, or the lead singer and the creator of the Smashing Pumpkins, owns National Wrestling Association (NWA), not the other one, which is beep with attitudes. It almost ruined that for me. It's like I couldn't say NWA anymore. It's like because people say, "Oh, you love NWA?" It's like, well, I like both. What do you mean both NWAs? Well, here's a and then you try to give people the rundown. All right, so let's go back here to the Mr. Iguana, Lola Vice versus Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez. Though that was another good match, a mixed tag team match, very good. I strongly recommend you watch that one as well. And there was New Day versus Psycho Clown. I can't say the other name. I do apologize. I'm just bad on like Spanish names, but Psycho Clown's pretty easy because it's Psycho and Clown. Um, that was a good match. I did not expect New Day to do as well as they did against them, and I do like the. I'm not going to give anything away, but that's definitely a match. I mean, the whole card's worth watching. The four tag teams for the AAA tag team titles. There's too much going on. I don't like it when there's that many people in the ring. It makes it not as fun, so it makes it not for me. So I don't recommend that match. I recommend you skip that match, or unless you just like chaos. Um, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's something special that happens at the end of the match. All right, now let's go on to the biggest match, and the biggest match being, and this is a good match, Dominic Mysterio, King of the Luchadors, or the greatest luchador of all time, whichever one he prefers to be called, versus Delgo, what is it? El Higo? El Hugo? No, no, no. I think it's just Vico. Yeah, Vikingo. Vikingo. I'm again horrible names. I'm sorry. That match was a good match. Um, I'm going to go ahead and give that match away because I thought it was too good not to give it away. I thought it was a 5-star match in its own way. And the reason why I say this is because Dominic Mysterio is vastly underrated. That guy is good. And he's been good for a good while now. And if you notice his match count before they stopped doing home shows and when they were still owned by Vince McMahon and not by TKO Holdings or whatever they're called, um, his match count was up to like almost like 100 and something per year. That's a lot of reps. Regardless if it's getting your butt kicked, he's paying his dues. He's doing everything he can. Won the championship, and I'm not going to tell you how he won. He won. His father comes out, and he's berating his father, and he's telling his father to put the belt on him and all this other stuff. So he holds the Intercontinental Championship and the AAA Title Championship, and he was chanted in the building. He is beloved. So I expect this guy to kick a lot of butt. Remove space. Okay. Well, it's not really cheap viewers. I put it on Twitch just because I like to put things on Twitch, man. I do change up where it's supposed to be, and it is in the podcast area. I did remove it from my gaming area for Twitch. So it's not just cheap viewers, my friend. But thank you for the information. I appreciate that. Input LBBC. Okay, fair enough. Now, Dominic Mysterio, I thought just did an amazing job. I can't say enough about Dominic Mysterio's just his work, uh, everything they did, and even the whole staying in character. Guarantee you, in private, where no one can see, him and his dad celebrated, him and Rey Mysterio Jr. And to me, it's like a Mysterio. I think has never had the championship title. So it means a lot for Mysterio to get it. I guarantee you, Conan probably celebrated with them, and of course, Conan was in character as well while he was doing commentary, and I love the fact that JBL's there has a Hill commentator, and Corey Graves is there working as well. So it's just amazing, and then the production was really good. If you've never been to a Lucha Libre show, or to like a Mexican house show, you're really missing out, man. These are some of the hardest working people. They put on a show. They want you to be excited. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, so I've been to a couple of Lucha Libre shows back in the day in Texas. So shout out to AAA Worlds Collide for putting on one of the most amazing shows and being able to watch it for free. I would love to admit, hell, I wish I had money to go to Vegas and see that live because it was just super awesome and super cool. Um, so, with that said, oh, Retromania. For those who don't know, and if you play Retromania and you're in the video games, it has like a Stevie, Blue Meanie, all these, indie stars and people who've been on the indies. So they just added 4 new characters. I think it's no, I think it's yeah, I think it's 4, maybe 5 new characters. For $10, they added the Rock and Roll Express, which is Ricky Martin, and God, I can't think of the other guy's name. Ricky Morton, sorry, and Robert Gibbs. Sorry, there we go. I almost lost my wrestling card there. Sorry about that. The who else did they add? Mercy. They added some really good people to. I think they added Demolition, another tag team, and they also added for the last person. Oh yeah, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Yeah, he added me. Yeah, I'm gonna get him. I don't know how they secured him because I think Lenny Popo, his brother, is no longer alive or with us. If he is, because that's the only person I know that would probably have the rights, unless his wife had the rights. But I digress. I'm glad that he's in this retro game. I think that's cool, and I like the game because it reminds me of the old Wrestling Fest games from the WWF before it was the WWE. So check that out if you want those extra characters. $10 is definitely worth it if you want those 2 tag teams, and of course, me the Macho Man, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here, I gotta do a bad thing. Now, if you've listened to this and you've had children with you, can you have the children hold their ears, or if you not do not like, maybe because I may say something that seems kind of irrational. So please bear with me. I'll give you a few seconds to either turn it off or to hold your children's ears or even hold your ears. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, so I was supposed to do this show uh, the other day with a friend of mine, JP. And now we used to do the Wrestling Tornado together. Now every time I want to do a wrestling show or talk wrestling, this in particular gentleman bloke says, "Yeah, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it," and keeps constantly putting me off. And it's not that he's just putting me off. He's like, "Oh, well, I can't do it to this time, or I got this," and like so he keeps blowing it off. And like he tells me he wants to talk wrestling. And I'm like, dude, I'll bring back the Wrestling Tornado show, which you can find on YouTube. No, actually, you can't find on. You can find on Spotify, and you can find on iHeartRadio, a couple other places. And I think it's almost been like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months, maybe a year since I did the Wrestling Tornado, and that's because this clown, and JP is a clown, uh, just didn't want to do it because it was too much pressure to talk wrestling once a week. Not every day, mind you, where you have the professionals do it, but and he's a guy that goes to a lot of different independent wrestling shows, to almost every wrestling show you can imagine up in New Jersey. No, no, no. I can't be bothered to go on a show that was more or less created for him to to talk smack about wrestlers and to talk smack about wrestling and to talk about fantasy football as well, because I throw in some fantasy football from time to time and a little bit of gaming, which was separate from this show here. So I will not be inviting him back onto the show again. uh, you know, you've screwed me over for the last time, sir. Um, so you will never hear the name JP from the Loot Bros on this show again, unless it's in passing, because that when you screwed me over as many times as you have when it comes to this, screw you, dude. Done. I'm not going to work with you. You're an idiot. You're an unprofessional person when it comes to anything that you do. Not just me, but other people have said working with you on other shows that you have a tendency to not want to show up or be a prima donna about when your time is, because whatever reason, it's say la vie. I'm done with you. If you're listening to the show, do not hit me up to ever come onto the show again, because I'm done. And if I return back to the Wrestling Tornado, it'll be with somebody else who actually loves wrestling as much as I do, not somebody who's like, I only want to get on there to on certain wrestlers or to go off on wrestlers or go off on Tony Khan in a negative way. I mean, I think that was probably the Wrestling Tornado when he was on it, when he decided to show up, was some of the most filthiest episodes I've ever had. I think every other word was an F bomb. I am a pro. I use a lot of profanity myself, ladies and gentlemen, in Discord. Yeah, Discord. It's very horrible. I'm trying to change and be a better person. I don't know if I can, but I hope I can. So no shout outs to him. He 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 can ride a red pony. But to everyone who watches and listens to the show, please like, share, subscribe to the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with a homeless person. If you see somebody that's wanting some money, say, "Hey, man, check out this podcast," because most homeless people have a phone. So it's like, "Hey, man, you think you're crazy? Listen to this guy. He's crazier than you are. He talks about everything." So, like, share, subscribe to the show. And I appreciate each and every person who hits the like button and likes the show. And thank y'all so much. Again, listening to a madman who talks about whatever's on his mind. Like, I wanted to do a show on the retro remakes of all these different PlayStation games that are coming up, but that'll be another show for another day, because I felt like I watched the AAA show this morning. Uh, I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, I don't know why. I didn't have to go to work because I usually wake up at 5 for that, but I digress. I'm like, oh, let me just, death scroll YouTube for some reason. I saw, oh, WWE has Worlds Collide, AAA. All right, bet. Let's do it, man. I ended up doing it, watching it, and enjoying the heck out of it. It was obviously they just want to give you all the stuff for free for right now and get you hooked. And like, oh, you like Lucha Libres? Now you gotta pay for it, pal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, aliens, whatever you identify in this wonderful, beautiful world, thank you so much. Have a safe and wonderful night. Bye.